Good afternoon, Nkosi Talk Shows family. It's Nomsa here at Nkosi Talk Shows. Find your own voice, live from within. So with me today, I'm with Amanda Murray. How are you, Amanda?
I'm really good. I'm excited to talk about mindfulness this morning because it's nice and early here and it's nice and sunny here today. So it'll be it'll be a really good topic for the day.
Awesome, awesome. So the topic today is how to actually practice mindfulness, tips for daily life integration. Practicing mindfulness in a daily life can be transformative, helping you stay grounded and focus in the present. So we're going to share some practical steps, tips for integration mindfulness into your routine, into your everyday routine. So Amanda, I know you choose this topic. Please, would you like to share with our audience what was the motivation behind this topic?
Well, I really know that society as a whole, our anxiety levels have increased a whole bunch, and so has depression in the last number of years, and same with kids as well. And because I'm a teacher, having mindfulness practices from a very young age, I think is something that's really, really important because, and they don't have to be like any sort of like religious based or anything like that. They're just really like they're based on science, based on how our minds work and how we're able to regulate our emotions and how we're able to help self-regulate ourselves. And so I think they're just really great tools that like anybody can use, and it doesn't matter what religion they are or where you come from, and they're lots of them are practices that can be done at any time of the day. And so there's really just like so many benefits to practicing mindfulness and to teaching it to kids really, really young. A number of years ago, I read the book by Jay Shetty called Think Like a Monk. And in that book, he talks about how in like the monasteries, they actually, the first thing they teach the kids isn't the ABCs, which is something that we teach kids in like Canada anyways, like right away. They teach them the ABCs, they teach them how to count. Well, in the monasteries, they teach them how to breathe because our breath is with us for our entire lives. And our breath helps us regulate our brain. And when we learn how to control our breath in stressful situations, then we're actually able to approach situations in a calm and like cool and collective manner. Whereas if we don't know how to control our breath, we can, like you find when you start to get anxious, you breathe faster. When you when you get angry, your breath changes from when you're calm. And if you start to become aware of that, you'll start to become aware of how your emotions and your breath are really like determining how you're showing up in the world. And so I thought that was really, really interesting, especially being a teacher that like, wow, they don't worry about this academic stuff right away. They worry about like this heart-centered approach to being a human. And I thought that was so powerful. And so that began, like, I was already on this journey of learning about mindfulness, but that was one of the things that really has stuck with me in my mindfulness research and in my mindfulness practice, is to learn how to breathe. And even now that we're starting to see that coming into schools more, which is like you'll see on like walls throughout the school, like the box breath or like the belly breath, like pictures of it. Or I teach sometimes how to do like a bumblebee breath, and just like learning how to change our breath and then how we notice how we feel before versus how we feel after. And it's so interesting how just focusing on breath can really change our nervous system. What do you think about that, Nomza? You're muted.
Muted, I was sharing my videos because I didn't want to. Yeah, I like that, Amanda, when you talk about practicing mindfulness has so many benefits. That is including learning to breathe properly. Sometimes when I feel like I'm having a cold, instead of like welcoming the cold to me, I breathe. I do like some breathing exercises. And sometimes I find that when I do breathing exercises, the cold it doesn't come to my whole body. It stays here on my head. So doing breathing exercises, I think, is very, very, very important to actually learn how to practice mindfulness. Some people may think, oh, wow, I don't have time. Like you can begin with the 5 minutes or 10 minutes a day when you're practicing short mindfulness for a few minutes in the morning before bed, or like it's just those, it teaches you to have this stillness moment, be in the present moment. Some people that don't know that, and also improve your confidence as well, because when you have your own time, having some me time, it helps you to stay focused. It helps you to start reflecting on your life, things around you, your foundation and everything. Because if you're just getting up in the morning every day, okay, I got to go to work and have a shower, go to work and not doing nothing and no prayer. Some people, they might say, okay, I don't believe in meditation, but you can meditate through the word of God. If you're a Christian, you can meditate through prayers. It's just mindfulness it should be part of our daily life, because for me, I can see the difference. Before, I didn't do in the morning, where I just get up in the morning and just get on with my life. I can see the difference now, how it has changed my life. So it does help. Amanda, I agree with you that there's so many benefits. The list goes on. You stay in the present moment, and it helps you to stay calm. Some people suffer from anxiety, depression. It calms you down when you learn to do these exercises. Anything you want to suggest, Amanda?
Yeah, I like how you talked about how mindfulness doesn't have to be like a huge thing that you are bringing into your life. It is something that you can just practice for 5 minutes if you want, or if you wanted to start learning how to meditate or something like that. But mindfulness even can really just be like in the moment. You realize that your breathing is really off, and you're like, okay, I'm going to take like 5 deep breaths, and I'm going to breathe in like and relax, and do that like 3 or 4 times and just like reset. Right. And so that's something that you can do. And that's a mindfulness practice that you can just do anytime you notice yourself like clenching up, or if you're sitting at your computer screen and you're like, just like drop your shoulders, take a deep breath, and just like relax. And then like send like healing energy to all areas of your body, just like in your head. Like that's something that you could do, and it might really shift and might really help. And I know for myself that it does. And even just being in the moment, being mindful of the present moment, like when we see little kids, they'll like stop and look at the flowers, or stop and pick up a rock, or stop and like play with a stick. And as adults, we're like, go here, go here, go here, go here, go here, go here. We never like notice what's going on around us. That when we begin to pause and be mindful and be in the present moment, we'll slow down and take that extra moment to look at the flowers, or to smell the flowers, or to notice something that we may not have noticed before. And one of the other things from that book, the Think Like a Monk book, that really stuck out to me was in the monastery, the monks walk the same walk every single day. And every single day, that walk is a new walk, because they're a different person. And so I was like, wow, that's so interesting. Because before, at the beginning, he talks about how he was like, really, we walk the same walk every single day over and over again. Um, but then how when you do walk that same walk over and over again, and you start to really slow down and become mindful about it, that's when you start to notice all the things that you didn't notice before. And so you'll notice rocks, you'll notice how insects are interacting with each other, you'll notice how the leaves are changing, you'll notice like all of these things, that when you just slow down a little bit, you become more present and you become more mindful. and you become more in your body than in your head. And I know I am one of those people that is like in my head a lot. So having these practices to be like, okay, get back in my body, get back into this moment, get back into not worrying about the past or the future or what's going to happen tomorrow, being like grateful for this present moment and taking a few moments to just notice that, right? And so those are things that we can do that are going to help us actually practice mindfulness daily. It's not like you have to start this big yoga practice and you have to start meditating for hours a day and you have to like start doing mantras or getting the prayer beads. That there's like 108 prayer beads, I think they're called, in a mala, and you like can do mantras 108 times to like practice whatever it is that you're trying to release. And you don't have to start doing all of those things. You can just start breathing, start being present, start doing something that's good for your body. So take that extra moment to be conscious of what you're putting in your body. Because practicing mindfulness includes, are you drinking enough water? Are you eating healthy foods? Are you moving your body and getting some sort of exercise every day? If you're not, start. That can be your 5 minute or 20-minute practice, is like, go out for a walk. Mindfulness starts with like getting in your body and moving your body and feeling good in your body and being present in your body, not stuck in your head. Those are the things that really help us make mindfulness real and allow it to be not this like huge extra, right? Because so many of us are like, I'm too busy, right? And there's a quote that I read years ago, and I can't remember what book it was in, but it was like, if you say you're too busy to meditate 5 minutes a day, then meditate for an hour. Because if you're so busy that you can't meditate for 5 minutes, then you really need an hour, because your brain is just so all over the place. And so I always thought that was like so weird. And then I was like, oh, but it is really true. If you're so distracted by everything else going on around you and so overwhelmed by everything else going on around you that you don't have 5 minutes to yourself, that's a big problem. And that's a problem that you need to switch starting like today, right? You need to have that slow down time. And meditation doesn't always mean sitting cross-legged with your eyes closed, with your back perfectly straight and like doing a mudra with your hands. That's the stereotypical meditation, right? Meditation can be a walking meditation. It could be a breathing meditation. It could be a guided meditation. It could be listening to a meditation as you go to sleep or listening to one as you wake up in the morning. It can be some simple practices of yoga where you're really focusing on being in your body and not in your head. What do you think, Nomza? What are some of your daily practices of mindfulness? Because I know you have more of a religious background in what you would practice from that standpoint. And then I believe that there's lots of mindfulness practices that are woven into all religions, and that whatever your religion is, you can pick ways to be really mindful and true to yourself.
I think I like Amanda when you said they do the same walk every day. I think the part of it you got to think what's the mindset that they are teaching them just to do the same walk every day. Because there are some people that may do the same walk every day, show up to work every day, doing the same thing, but not really being in the present moment, just doing it for the sake of doing it. So I think for them, the fact they do that, like same walk every day, is just to raise that awareness in their body, in their present moment, to be basically to be aware of what is going on around them. And so they can stay calm, learning to the calmness, which is that's what we do. Being a Christian, you pray every single day. So my pastor said once one day, it was like, okay, you guys, you pray every day. So sometimes when you pray, because it's mindfulness, you want to connect with God, you want to connect with the Holy Spirit, but you actually know what you're saying when you're saying loads of words. So it was like record yourself. When you record yourself and then play it back to you so you can see whether you're mumbling words, the words that you are saying. So it was like make sure the effective way is like you see they do the walk every day, same walk. It was like pick a time where you have this same prayer written down, and then you pray that prayer for 1 hour every single day, but do it the same time. And I have realized that since I've practiced his techniques, is helping me to be in the present moment. Like with what I'm doing, I'm staying in the present moment. I can do my breathing exercises. I can do all different things that I want to do. And mostly as a Christian, we learn to pray in tongues, like in the spirit, like where you can, instead of praying in English or like my native language, Zulu. So we don't do that. You have to pray in a language that can only be understood by you. It can be translated by the Holy Spirit to you. That means like praying in tongues, and then the Holy Spirit you can only understand what it means because it gets translated to you. So that helps as well to stay calm, and also listening to music. Music actually is powerful healing. Like some people, they say, I used to think, oh, why do I have to do worship songs? They don't help. But I realize actually they do help with the healing or miracles, whatever breakthrough that people may struggle with. There's so many different things that you can do, like body scanning, meditation, it depending with what kind of a meditation you use. You can use the scriptures, you can use whatever that works for you, music, whatever. Like regular checking with your body starts from your toes and slowly moving to up to your heart and noticing where you have tensions and like just relaxing your body, bringing that awareness of how your body feels and promoting that realization. And even when you can do it when you are brushing your teeth, when you're washing the dishes, or even when you're walking mindfully, just focus on those sensations, the sight and sounds of each action. This turns a mundane task into opportunity for mindfulness as well. And Carol Anne also, she said something once that when was it Carol Anne or somebody else? When you're drinking water, she was like, sometimes when you were drinking water, we don't really pay attention of what we're doing. We're just like, I'm thirsty. Let me just drink. But just like take your time. Or even when you are having your bath, take your time and feel that bath, that realize the real relaxation. You just relax. You don't have to do like extremely things. It's just where you be in the moment. The things that we take for granted. Yeah, over to you, Amanda.
I like what you said, like about being in the moment, but also that was interesting how you said that you talked in like different tongues to like have a meditation or like a spiritual practice, which is really interesting. I know one of the ones that I do sometimes, and I hadn't done them for a very long time, but as I have malas with the beads on them, and there's 108, and I forget the like significant meaning of 108, but I could look it up. It's been a while since I did that research, but you'd say like a mantra like 108 times to like help yourself or whatever, and one of the ones that I like to do is Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, which is essentially one to like release blocks from yourself, and to like it's like supposed to be you're releasing all the blocks from yourself, and clearing the way for good things to come. And I just find them so fascinating, the different things that people do around the world, and And that was one that was introduced to me at a yoga practice. And I always found that one to be one that is the only one that really stuck in my head. Like I've been told different mantras before, and that's the only one I can remember. And so that's when I do decide to do them, that's the one that I say over and over again 108 times and use my mala to count it. But I just found it's what's meant for you, I think sticks, right? And whatever it is, whatever the mindfulness practice is, what's meant for you and what works for you, because everybody is different, that's the thing that's going to stick for you. And the fact that like 5 years after not practicing any of the like using my mala to practice chanting types of practices, that's the one that I remember. And it's always been the one that I could remember. And for whatever reason, that one sticks out in my head. And I thought about doing it the other day because I went to a yoga class and the yoga teacher had done like a little chant at the end, and when they were singing, and I was like, oh, I need to start doing that again. I haven't done that for a really long time. And so I have practiced that a couple of days last week, and it just like made me feel good, right? And it's not really like what it is that like this one's gonna work. You have to do what works for you and what feels good for you, and try to make your mindfulness like a daily practice, right? And I know there's apps out there that will like remind you, like send you a reminder throughout the day and like take a deep breath. And that's all that it notifies you of, right? And you're like, oh yeah, breathe in, breathe out, like be in my body. And I think those apps are really great tool to help people to start to be mindful in their body. And I like what you said about like doing that same walk over again, how our mindset is different each time we do the walk, right? And I always think about like if you're struggling with something in your personal life, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you're you could like try to escape to like the most beautiful place in the world, and you're still going to be stuck in your head worrying about whatever it is that you're worrying about. And so when we can like start to learn how to control our thoughts a little bit, we can start to be more present and start to be more aware of what's going on around us and start to appreciate those beautiful things around us all the time as well. I know for me, like where I live, there's some really wonderful, beautiful things about where I live. And then there's some like really crappy things about where I live. Like it gets really cold here because I live in Canada, right? And people call it like the Great White North for a reason, but most of the year it's not freezing cold, right? Most of the year, like it was still 26 degrees Celsius yesterday, and it's September, and it was beautiful and it was sunny, and we're out walking, and today's supposed to be 27 degrees Celsius. And so like I'm gonna go paddleboarding on the lake, and that's something that you can't always do. But then in the winter, we have like skiing and snowboarding and hiking and snow, and it's so pretty here when everything's all white. And yet then there's the days where we get the -40, and it's like, why do I live here? This is miserable. Right? But then the sun's shining and it's -40, and it tricks you that it's not cold outside, right? Whereas where you live, you have like the snow, or not the snow, the like rain, right? And it's raining and raining and raining and cloudy. And I don't know how many months you have of rain, but that's, even though there's beautiful things about where you live, there's also that like other piece of it too, right? And so do you really value those beautiful days and take advantage of it, or do you just struggle in the like not so great days, right? And how do we find that balance of like what it is that we're going to do to enjoy living where we live? So for me, to enjoy living where I live, which is in the city, I get out of the city and I go hiking on a regular basis, and just resetting in the mountains is one of the like best things for my soul. And so I have to really make a conscious effort to get myself out there and hike and pick trails and find some friends to hike with. And that's really what, even though living in a city isn't always my favorite thing, but also being conscious of where I chose to live in the city is a really important thing too, because that allows me to set myself up for my daily mindfulness practice of like, okay, I can be grateful for the area of the city that I live in. I can be grateful that it's a 45-minute drive to the mountains if I want to. I can be grateful that on these beautiful days in the fall, I can go paddleboarding on the lake, which is 2 minutes from my house. Like all of those wonderful things that help you reset when you're struggling with some other aspect of your life that's not the way that you hoped it would be.
Yeah, I like when you use the word that Amanda, that is it was always like something that um we don't like about our lives. So that's where the mindfulness comes in. Like here in UK today, it was so cloudy and it's so cold. It's rainy times, and the rain here is unpredictable. We don't get like so much snow like you guys do. You guys get a lot, but we still, although we don't get so much snow, we still complain, find something that we complain, because if it's cold, it's cold. But I
I
think
feel when
that's
it's humid, I feel like my body feels like it's colder than when it's -40. Because when I've gone to like humid climates and it's like cold and rainy and like maybe just like hovering around 0 degrees Celsius, I'm like, I think it's colder than when it's -40 at home. Like this is cold. Because it just feels it in your bones. And I'm like, I don't think people realize that it feels to me at least, just as cold as it does in other places.
can you put like, does it work if you put a heatings on?
Oh yeah. If you put heaters on or like big jackets and stuff, yeah.
If you put a heating on, you still need to put a jacket on.
Oh no, no. But if you go outside, you need a jacket.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You have to have
Yeah,
a jacket.
snow. It's when there's snow, you need a big jacket.
Sometimes you can like there's days where it's beautiful and sunny and you can go skating on the lake and you're in a t-shirt. There's days like that. But there's days where you're like, it's very cold and we need a giant jacket that looks like an Eskimo. Right? Like the stereotypical, like big fur around your face jackets that are covering everything because it's freezing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's good to, and also to use gratitude. I think gratitude is very important when you practice gratitude, where we can focus on the positivity, like when it's cold, try to find something that can give you comfort to, so you don't focus on the freezing one. So it's very important. Also sometimes maybe mindful of walking during your commute or break. Practice mindful walking, focus on each step, like Amanda was saying, what these guys do. And when you focus on a step, you focus on the feeling of your feet touching the ground and the rhythm of your movement. I do that is when I'm wearing like high heels. I practice like walking with grace, or if I'm wearing like my trainers, I just like to feel, or if my music is playing, I like to feel the rhythm of my music so I can dance with that music. Even when I'm walking, I don't really care who is watching me. So if I'm walking like on the street, listening to my music, I just focus on the rhythm of that music. And if the rhythm of that music, it connects through my body, and if my body feels like enjoying that rhythm of it, if I have to like dance a little bit, like smile a little bit, be it. So I don't really mind. Sometimes maybe I don't know, when I meet people, they're like, oh, this one is she's cuckoo. But that's okay, guys, because I'm working in my own lane. If I'm cuckoo, I'm cuckoo, that's fine. But some people, they're so mindful of people, they miss out all these things. I've learned to practice this mindfulness and meditate in prayer. And fasting as well is so good when you fast. That's mindfulness. But you have to, if you are on medication, you have to speak to your doctor, guys. Don't say no, said I should fast. Fasting is really, really good for you. So you have to find the routine that works for you. And it connects your body, soul, and spirit. So it helps you to cleanse your body as well, depending on what you're fasting for. But it does really, really help. That's where like I get my attitude from, where I connect my inner body with my soul and my body and my spirit, where I connect with God. And it just helps me just to be in that present moment. It's like before when somebody speaks, I will just, if they say something that I don't like, I'll get upset or I'll be like questioning it. But now I'm in a point where it doesn't bother me anymore. Whatever the negativity, it doesn't bother me anymore. I don't have to react in a negative way. I've got to stop or to think, not go into the search of negative judging. And I've got to know that, okay, me and this person, we are in a different level with mindfulness. So I find when you do that, people really connect to your energy. Like if they say something negative, if I'm connected to minding what I'm doing each and every single day, that means my energy attracts good stuff as well. So it's very, very important, guys, to practice mindfulness. Don't spend time on makeup. Some people, yeah, some people spend time on makeup and looks, how they look. Guys, there's no point in looking good if you're feeling bad inside. Your inner world, you got to complement your outer world. How you feel outside, make sure that's how you feel on the inside. And you can do that step by step. If you can't do 5 minutes, 2 minutes, the time that you do on TV, maybe just take that time just to be mindful and be grateful. There's a message that someone has sent me on WhatsApp. I was reading it one today. Where's that message? It's just teaches us to be mindful as well of things. Where's this person? I like to share it with you guys. It says someone else is dreaming of the job that you hate. So meaning that you got to, even if you have a job and you feel like this job is not my dream job, still be grateful. It says the home you complain about, this someone else is dreaming of the home you complain about, the smile you forget to wear, and the health you take for granted. Don't let difficult times make you forget your blessings. Like, these guys, when they walk every day, some walk, it meaning life doesn't make sense, but I can make it sense, make it make sense. My own, I can create my own and make it make sense, and just be in that present moment and refuse to go with challenges. Anything, Amanda?
No, I was thinking about what you said about like don't worry about putting on makeup, like feel good inside, but I actually would argue the opposite. Like spend some time making yourself feel good on the outside, dress yourself up and take yourself out so that you feel good on the outside so that it actually like penetrates into the inside too. But I understand where you were coming from in that, as in like that shouldn't be your primary focus. But I definitely know for myself, if I'm having like a down feeling crappy day, if I like dress myself up and like feel good about things, and like it actually like shifts things as well. So
Amanda,
that,
you are in personal development. Some people, they are completely not in any mindfulness. They just focus on,
yeah, I
I
know where you're
expect,
coming from in
yeah,
it, but I also said like I think there's a balance with it, is what I was trying to say, is there's like a
yeah.
balance between those two, where I think I know even for myself, if I'm not feeling well, I'll like put on sweatpants and like curl up with a book and and just be like, okay, I just need this day to like reset and like relax and just have a down day, but that be mindful of that tomorrow I'm gonna like put my yoga pants on and go to the yoga class and like feel good. And then when I get back to work, I'm going to dress like a professional and feel good and be present with my classroom and as a teacher. And I think too, like I was talking about this the other day because we had like our parent teacher like open house. And I'm like, if society wants to view us as professionals, like if we want society to view teachers as professionals, then we need to dress as professionals, especially when we have the public coming into the building. And so like it almost should be an expectation that we are dressing like professionals for open house nights and things so that we can show the community that we are professionals. We're not just glorified babysitters, right? And because I teach grade 5, it's a little different than like kindergarten too, right? Like I'm not like crawling on the floor with the children. I'm like teaching them, but I do still sit on the floor with my grade 5s. But I do make sure that I'm dressed like a professional 99% of the time while I'm at work, because I expect the children to be respectful of me, but I also have to respect my body and my profession by dressing for that occasion. And that, don't get me wrong, there are days where I will wear my jeans to work and like, or some like grubby clothes because we're painting. So I'm dressing for what it is that we're doing that day. And if I am not dressed like as a professional that could like go downtown and fit in just the same as I would downtown, um, at the school, then it's because of something that we are doing in the classroom that day. And so I think that's something that we really need to think about too. If you're like, oh, I'm struggling at work and this, like, how are you showing up? Are you showing up as a professional each and every day, or are you showing up in your sweatpants? Those are two very different things. And when you show up as a professional and you present yourself as a professional, people are going to treat you as a professional. That can be a mindfulness practice in and of itself. Am I going to show up for myself as a professional each and every day? Am I going to show up for myself as somebody who cares about what I'm putting into my body each and every day? Am I going to show up for myself and get exercise or move my body each and every day so that my body feels good? How are you choosing to show up each and every day? And that really is a mindfulness practice, is being conscious of how you are choosing to show up, and even pausing throughout the day and being like, how am I showing up right now? How am I showing up to the world right now? And that's a question that you can ask yourself throughout the day, right? Is how am I showing up for myself? And then how do I want to show up for myself? Right? Shift that. And if it's not, they're not matching, then what are you going to do differently? Right? What are you going to do differently to shift that? And when we're being mindful of something, we really are like helping us build our confidence, I think, and just focus on building confidence in different areas of our lives. Because if you're struggling with something, there's probably like a lack of confidence or fear that's like hidden underneath that, right? And so when we can build confidence, that's where we are actually going to help us on our journey to success. And so I had a student, a parents come in before, and we were talking, and this child has never felt successful before in school ever. And I said to them, they're like, what are we going to do? Like, this kid isn't reading, he's way below grade level. And I said, we're going to take a completely different approach. We're not going to worry about going to tutoring. We're not going to worry about making sure he's like coming home from school and doing an hour of homework to try to catch him up, because he has no confidence in that area and it's just going to be a giant fight. So what could you do that's going to build this child's confidence in any area at all? Because when we can build their confidence in one area, that's going to trickle into all other areas of this child's life. So when we can build their confidence in something, we can show them, hey, you feel confident in this one area. If we practice in this area, you might start to build some confidence there. And then you might start to build some confidence in the next area. And then you might start to build some confidence in another area. So really, and I just was like, let's set all these academic worries aside and let's just really focus on building this child's self-confidence. And you will see a completely different shift in him. And those academic pieces will start to fall into place. And I've seen that happen over and over and over again. And yet schools so often and parents so often, if their child's struggling in a certain area of academics, they're like, okay, we're going to practice math for an hour a night. And it's like, well, no, like, let's maybe practice for like 10 minutes. And then like, let's build your confidence in other areas so that you can see that this confidence in these other areas can actually trickle into the areas that you're not feeling so confident in because you're willing to try here. And so much of our learning and our growth is that ability and willingness to try. Because so often we're not willing to try. And then we get down on ourselves and then we make excuses along the way. And when we're mindful of that, we can be like, okay, what is it that's holding me back from trying that new thing that I didn't want to try? What is it that's holding me back from like making sure I make conscious choices about what I'm eating? What is it that's holding me back from having an exercise practice? And then you can really get to the root of the problem, right? And you talked about journaling and gratitude as one of the tools for practicing mindfulness every day too. And those like daily routines of journaling and being grateful and setting intentions and writing down what you want to accomplish that day. Those are all habits that are going to help you be mindful each and every day. And then you're going to see your life shift when you start to implement those daily practices. Mindfulness isn't just something that you do once a year. It's something that you like integrate into your life. And when you can truly integrate it and navigate time so that you're doing it each and every day, that's when things are really going to shift. Because it's like they say, if you work out once and you work out really hard, it doesn't matter how many hours you worked out in that one day, it's not going to really make a difference. It's when you're consistently working out and exercising over a long period of time and it becomes your habit, that's when things start to change, right? What do you think, Nomza? Because I know we have to finish up pretty quickly here because you have to go.
I like the way you say, how do we show up for ourselves? And you even made the example where you show up when you go to work, you show up professional, you dress up like you go easy when you know that you're gonna be working with the children and doing some muddy stuff. Then but when you don't do those things, you show up professional. I think is very, very important because as a teacher, like even myself as a coach, we are both in that environment where we helping people to be the find that best version of themselves. And finding a best version of yourself, you have to be a good example. Like when you're teaching the children and the teachers are learning from you how you are showing up, like your personality. So I think it's very, very, very important. Like guys, when I was saying you don't spend time on focusing on makeup. You see, when Amanda, she's saying she loves to look good and but she's into mindfulness. That's what she does for living anyway, by the way. But those who are not into mindfulness, try to find time. Maybe if we are getting dressed, I've got my in-laws, they spend time, like if they're going out at 8, they'll start getting ready at 4. Yeah, 4 or 5, to make sure that they look so perfect. So if you're that kind of a person, please do take good care of yourself because you got to show up your outer world. You got to complement your inner world. And when you actually feel like, you know what, I
For
need to
those type of people, I would just be like, go to the grocery store in your sweatpants with no makeup on. That's the thing that you need to do. If you're spending 4 hours getting ready to go out, you need to just walk out of your house with no makeup on and like straight from a yoga class or something and just like messy hair. Nobody cares. Nobody
Yeah,
cares. It's
nobody
horrible.
cares.
Not a single person. I've
They would
actually,
look at you, they're like, what's wrong with this one?
I've
Or
literally been
sometimes they won't
asked
even,
for, I've been asked out in the grocery store showing up in like grubby sweatpants to like I just was like in a rush and ran over and like didn't have any makeup on and didn't care. And I was like, really? Like really? People don't care. They don't care. They're
yeah,
like
they don't notice.
they're feeling your energy more than anything else, which is something that's and people I think sometimes they like they have that fear of showing up not perfect. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
you have to show up a little bit messy, but also other times be intentional about showing up as your best self.
Yeah, I had a laugh once. This girl, I never really used to think that way. She was like, Nomsa, in London, if you walk with barefoot or if you, like you said, get up in the morning on your pajamas and just go for a walk, nobody cares. People won't even notice because they are too busy doing their own things. And I did that with my spouse one day. I stopped wearing makeup and then we're going out and he goes, um, please don't put makeup. If you lean this way, then you put makeup on my white shirt. I was like, I feel so offended that you cannot see the difference between when somebody is wearing a makeup when someone is not wearing a makeup. So it made me realize that actually there are some people that basically when they see you like every day, they get used to you. So it should be up to you. You shouldn't really worry about how you show up, but make an effort for yourself. Because some people they'll be like they dress for some people to show off. But at the end of the day, they're not really feeling too good. I was like, who are we dressing for? Mindfulness is all about, like Amanda said, even when she's not going out, she likes sometimes if she's staying at home, she'll look good for herself. And that is powerful. That is showing up for yourself. I'm showing up for yourself. Guys are going to give you a challenge if you have this beautiful dress or a beautiful suit, guys, and you've never wore it for a long time because there's no wedding, no one has invited you to a party for a long time. Get that dress out and just dress it in the house and just feel good about yourself. I do the same, Amanda, when I'm going to the office. I always look good. I just dress up for myself because I know that if I don't dress up for myself, no one will dress up for me. So I might as well make the most of it. I dress up for myself and God and just looking good. And I think in that way is so beautiful. Do you have any words of encouragement, Amanda? Because I need to be getting out at 2 p.m. I've got a meeting at 2.
I think wherever you are on your mindfulness journey, just like really start to try to get more into your body and be present in the present moment, because that's really where you're going to start seeing that shift when you notice your body tensing up like this and like you're squeeze feel your neck starting to like tense up. I know that happens for me. It's just like take a deep breath and relax things and see how the things begin to shift. Start a gratitude practice where even you write down 3 things that you're grateful for each and every day, or just to even think of them. Take a moment when you're struggling about with something, be like, okay, what are 3 things that I'm grateful for? Because mindfulness really is something where you just start to be more present and you start to be more present in your body, start to put more healthy things into your body, begin to really just be your best authentic self. And I think that's really what the goal is to become our best authentic selves. And that you can do that through mindfulness.
Yeah, I like that. For me, guys, I leave you with this. I think when we do mindfulness, it communicates a way to be intentional and it gives you a clear, honest, and compassionate in your interaction. You become clear of what you are, what you're doing, And it just gives you that clarity of not to give an F word. I'll say a F word of what people think when you do mindfulness every single day. Because people don't do anything because they worry about how they show up. They worry about people. But if you find these people that really, they're very, very mindful, like these guys, they do the same walk every single day. In that way, if you were to go and judge them, what do you think they will say? They wouldn't really take any notice of you because to them, whatever you say is none of their business. They know they are in that present moment. They know that their time, like my life, I know that my life is between me and God and the loving people around me. And I know I'm not perfect. So the gratitude, I understand the power of gratitude, the power of being me and mindfulness and practicing things that make me happy every single day and showing up for myself and showing up for my friends and just unapologetic and living the life that I want. Even when even my life is not perfect, but to me it's perfect. Guys, if you're watching us from YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. And if you're watching on YouTube, on Facebook, please do join the group. Like our page, we have Unique Billionaire Mindset and Gossip Talk Shows group. Please do join those two groups and like Hope Spring Eternal Introduction Agency page and Gossip Talk Shows page. And then go to Gossip Talk Shows page on the website is www.hseia.coach. And if you want coaching, please do sign up. Live with grace, everyone, and God bless.